to the StephUp podcast, where we share wisdom to bring healing and growth. I have on the podcast today my wonderful, lovely friend, Julie Howlett. Hey, Julie, welcome.
Hello, Steph. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
I,
How are you?
I'm honored, is the first thing I want to say. Absolutely honored to be with you. It's fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
And you're my first guest for season 4.
Wow.
Yay!
May the force be with us.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Too bad we're not doing this on May 4th. That would have been really cool.
I know. Anyway, yeah. I'm
So,
pleased to be here. Yeah.
yay. And you're wonderful to not only have conversations with, but also when you do live talks, we met on the Noom Vibe app and you're regular on there. You do live talks Monday to Friday and on reflections.
Yeah, I do. I do. I find that it is, for me, a topic that I can be an expert on because it's about my own experiences, which is a great relief from not being an expert.
Right. Yeah. Because when we
Yeah.
share, and whenever you share experiences, it helps. It always helps me. I
Mm,
realize I'm not alone. Oh,
yeah.
Julie had that. Oh, I struggle with that. Like what? Oh, I feel like it's wonderful and you're so welcoming and open with that. You draw people in and everyone knows you're known as somebody who's very good at drawing people in. So,
And
yeah.
there we go. I
So would
think the
you?
thing is,
Mm,
I think the one thing that draws people in is that I am a human being and I have all the emotions of all of us, at one time or another, and that I am willing to share the good bits and the scary bits, the challenging bits, and I feel comfortable in expressing if I felt sadness or if I do feel sad or if I feel excited or disappointed or anxious. I share them all.
it's
Yeah.
very helpful and very important. And like I always say, let's be human first.
Yes, let's be human first. Come on, guys, we can do this. We are human.
We are human. So do you want to share a little bit about like today we're talking about the power of suggestion,
Yeah,
which is something you know about because you've been studying hypnotherapy.
yeah.
And do you want to share a little bit of your story and how you came to be interested
Yeah.
in this topic?
Well, I did a long journey with my partner, as you know, on two bicycles back in 2022. We decided to travel the country of the UK, starting off in Norfolk and ending up 1,000 miles via this route in Cornwall, the very tip end of Land's End. And as we were going across, I came to a point midway where a friend of mine took me in and fed me and refurbished all that energy that I'd lost. And she is a hypnotherapist. And amongst other things, she's walked many paths. She's walked the way of paganism. She's walked the way of Sufism, which is where she's at the moment. And she's tried lots of different things. And hypnotherapy for her was one of the most amazing, the most helpful that she could have for herself and for others. Because we do realize that hypnotherapy is basically the receptiveness of suggestion. That's all it is. So when I looked at that and she introduced it to me, my eyes lit up because I want to know about the world around me. I want to be able to understand my interactions with the world around me and the power of suggestion. What things are being suggested to me at the moment? And we'll talk about this in a while. What things have been suggested to me in the past? Is it other people suggesting to me? Or am I suggesting things to myself and being receptive of that? And this friend She nurtured me, encouraged me, and she said to me, you have the peacefulness inside yourself, even through your experiences in life have been quite dysfunctional, and you've managed to get yourself through. But this could be really a helpful thing for you to have a look at the choices and the autonomy that you have with suggestions. So it was her that introduced it, and then I stepped up and said, I want to learn more. I wanted to learn more on a scientifically evidence based approach, which is very important to me. I didn't want it to be airy fairy in the sky because I receive a lot of that. I wanted it to be based on evidence that I could then educate other people to see that evidence and then make up their own mind and become self effective. So, yeah, it's Nima. She's a
That's
good girl.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And that ties in so well with reflection because like you said, it's understanding what is the influence of others, the power, their suggestion, and what I want, what I'm suggesting.
Yes. Yeah. And what are you suggesting? So, the suggestions can come in many forms. So, you can have suggestions that are to stay safe, to not grow, to um, know your abilities and stay within your remit. You can have suggestions towards yourself that will stunt your growth. You can have suggestions that will keep you in doubt of your own abilities. And yet, you can have suggestions as well that are promoting, encouraging towards yourself and your growth and your adventure in life. So, all of those can stem from you. So, looking at that is an ideal place to start. Look at the suggestions in your world from externally and um, internally as well. We could go into the externally in a minute if you like, because I'm sure you can think of a few suggestions in your own life.
Oh yeah. Well, you know the things that I've struggled with and the voices of other people. And
Yeah.
I would allow, without understanding it, without knowing it, I allowed all those other voices to influence me greatly.
Mm.
And there was something you said about those things that we can stop our growth or the things that, and it reminds me of, you've talked about this before, and we all kind of use this phrase, the stories we tell ourselves.
Yes.
I can't do that. Who's telling you that? Many, maybe from your past, maybe it was people telling you that, and then you took that upon yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the story that you gave yourself because other people suggested it.
Because you heard it so often.
Hmm.
The other part of suggestion is repetitive. It's repetitive suggestion that goes deeper and deeper into the way that you think, feel, and behave. So, um, for me, I started really not so much looking at the self suggestions. I started looking firstly at the suggestions from outside of me. So, the suggestions of what I should look like. That's a huge one. It's a great big sales pitch in that. Yeah, the suggestions of what looks like success. And another big one that we all start to, look at because it's repetitive. It comes from business, it comes from um, workplace scenarios, colleagues, it comes from family, it comes from history, it comes from expectations from others, like parents, even. So, all of those things are suggestions. And because they are repeated and overlapped by each other, you can end up being suggested that maybe, in your mind, your interpretation of it is, I'm not looking the way that I should. I'm not at the stage I should be now compared to, because the suggestion is that. Other suggestions could be that to live a happy life, you need a lot of money.
Right.
It's ever so easy. You can make any, any statement can be a suggestion. And when it's repeated enough, we start to take that on board and we start to action, think, and behave in accordance to be concordant with this behavior, with this suggestion. It's like, oh, I better go and buy myself a nice pair of trainers because people will be looking at my feet. And if I'm not wearing the right ones, then they're gonna judge me. You see? And this is all from suggestion. It's like suggesting the food that you should eat that's healthy for you. A beautiful example of that is broccoli. Okay, let's all go out and eat broccoli because it's really good for you. That's what the suggestion is. But next week, you better leave that broccoli behind because this week it's carrot. This week, everybody, it's carrot. Carrot's really good for you, and it keeps that flow going because you have to have new suggestions all the time. It's just amazing. It blows my mind when I think about it. That's why I go, when it comes to suggestions, because they are everywhere, every minute of every day. And if they're not from you, they're from outside. Our job then is just to do one thing, one job before you do anything else. Notice, just notice with no input from yourself. Just notice it. It's neither good nor bad. It's just suggestion. And our power is whether we let that influence us. That's where our power is. So when you start to look at other suggestions, you can notice, oh, yes, I can see that coming in. Now what do I get to do? I get to choose. I get to choose. Oh, there's my autonomy. Woohoo!
And then we get to empower ourselves, and then instead of other people having that power over us.
Yeah.
That is so huge. When I started learning this, and it was hard,
Mm.
um, because I kept saying, but I even had a conversation last week with a friend. I was like, but they say you need to do this. And he goes, who says? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
right. Because we are so indoctrinated
Yes.
basically with this. This is the marketing, and this is your teachers and the authority and the world. It's like we're living in the matrix.
We've learned to be receptive.
Yeah. And
That's
it's funny how you were when you were talking, there's so many examples I can think of. When kale, we started eating more kale. I remember like kale's a superfood, and I was posting about it, and I love kale, I do. But it was at that time it was the thing of the day. And
mm,
then it's going to switch to something else, like you were saying. One thing that for me, I have been wearing makeup since I was allowed to wear makeup as a
mm,
teenager. And it wasn't because at times I enjoyed doing my makeup, especially when you're young, it's fun to play with it. But I don't enjoy it anymore, Julie. I'm not one of those people online who's having fun. They're artists, they're creative. I'm like, "Oh my God, that's a long time. I wish I could do that. I don't want to do that though."
mm.
But I did it because we were told as females, you have to look a certain way for the
Yeah.
men. That's just what women do. You're supposed to wear that. You're supposed to. You need more. Stephanie, you need to put on mascara. Do you know, Julie, I hate mascara because it just bothers my eyes. I'm very sensitive to the chemicals, and I wore
Yeah.
that stuff for years. But because I didn't think I'm not pretty enough, I have to cover my skin. My skin is blotchy and pinkish, and oh, you don't look a certain way. Oh my God, that was such a nightmare. And now I put on makeup once in a while if I'm going to a thing, but I really rarely ever put it on, and I don't miss it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I get to choose. And if you don't like
Yes.
looking at my face, then go talk to somebody else,
But the other
right?
thing is what I think about that is, and I'm sure a lot of women will join us when we say this, is when you first go out on a date and you put lots of makeup on and these days it's even worse because you've got to do contouring, and I mean I wouldn't even know where to start with that contouring. So you bring this, that, and that out.
Complicated.
And I've seen some of the videos, the stuff that they go through, and I'm thinking, no, my hand's like this. So I'd end up with like wibbles and blobs, and but you know they do all this, put all this makeup on, and then you created in your head a suggestion straight away. Is when that person looks at you and says, "You look beautiful today." Are they saying you look beautiful in makeup today? And would they still say, oh, you are beautiful if you didn't put any of that makeup on? So already you're creating an issue. But the suggestion is that you look beautiful because you know you've done all of this stuff. You put all of this stuff on. And I've even got to having conversations with people who say they won't go out of the house without having makeup on.
That was me. I wouldn't even go to the grocery store because what if I run into somebody I know?
Yeah.
Who
What's
cares?
what kind of suggestion is that to you?
Well, and because I had such low self-esteem, I thought I was too ugly, too fat, worthless, all of that stuff that was given to me since I was young. And then that was what I created within myself as to who I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I have to be like this. And I've had friends and we all talk about makeup. It's a mask. I'm putting
Yes, it
on my
is.
mask. I do not, I have to put on this mask because, and I've had this happen and we have had this happen, many of us. The day you don't go to work without, the day you go to work without makeup, what's wrong? Are you okay? You look awful. Right? Are you crying? I'm like, no, dude, this is just my pink face. I'm pink and blotchy. That's what my face looks like without foundation. But when I did wear foundation, Julie, remember in the 90s and 80s and stuff, it
Yeah.
was orange
Yeah, that, yeah,
and it didn't
live.
match your neck.
Yeah.
That was a nightmare. I was like, that's so horrible looking. So now I'm like, okay, well, this is just my face. Deal with it.
I think it's really funny when I went to work without makeup because I'd have to put, I've put some on today. I put some mascara on and a bit of eyeliner because my eyes look like. So I put some on because then you can see them. But when I went to work without makeup one day, this is what was said to me. Are you not very well?
Wow.
You don't look well today. What? So yeah, it's very strange how we get used to this stuff that we do because it's suggested that it's something we should do. It's something we need to do. Part of our routine. It's suggested to us that this is the norm. And it just simply isn't the norm. The norm is you as an individual creating your own experience, you know?
And how does that, because that has to do with our subconscious.
Well, uh, for me, I don't say there's any difference between just thinking and that backdrop that we call the subconscious. I don't think there is a missing part. They're not two separate things. I think that we learn in one brain, and so just it's like if you said that you breathe because you did it subconsciously.
Okay.
You breathe because it's autonomic, because it does it. It just, the whole system works in the background. But I don't think subconsciously we do things. It's just that we're not aware.
Mm.
So it is, our brain for me doesn't have two sections. It is one brain, and it's for us to kind of sit back and listen to it as a whole, if you like. Start to question things that we like habits that we do, start to question little movements that we do. It's that observation thing, that noticing, I think, that blows up the subconscious part.
Oh, that's so good. That's
Because
a fascinating way of looking at it.
yeah, because if you think about subconscious, it's usually refers to things that we don't realize that we're doing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if we were to combat that and to realize that our brain is one brain and it works the way it does, if we could just give a bit of time to notice all of those little tiny things in our world, little habits and suggestions. Actually, what are the suggestions we are responding to?
Mm.
And then maybe with them, once we notice those things, we can start to try new things. We can say, well, I've noticed that. And this is where the reflection thing comes in that I talk about so often, because it allows me to notice parts of my day. Even small things can bring around huge change. Small things that you do in your day, like waking up in the morning and feeling whatever you feel in the morning. That thought or feeling that you have can influence or suggest to you the whole day, how the whole day is going to be. So have a little notice of that and tweak it maybe, and find with that tweak that actually you're allowing other experiences to come in. Like waking up in the morning and going, oh God, it's Wednesday. All right, I'm going to change that. I'm rewinding because I do that. Waking up this morning, it's Wednesday. Half of the week is done already. Whoop, whoop.
That reframing.
Yeah.
That's huge. Julie, when I worked at a call center, I lived in Toronto. I was miserable. Like 7 years of that. I hated it. And I would wake up, unless it was an exciting day that, I don't know, we were doing something fun or, you have those exciting moments. But usually I'd be like, oh, hmm. And I was doing that all morning on the bus, on the subway. And of course, and I didn't know. And that's where the awareness of understanding, oh, and I don't really do that anymore. But if I do have those moments where I wake up and I'm thinking, oh, no, hey, I can turn this around. But it takes time for people because, and this is one of the things as well that we talk about, just be human,
Yeah.
because there's so much of you just need to be grateful. You need to wake up the morning with a
Yeah, but
smile
you
on your
might
face.
not just notice it. Don't do
Yes.
anything else. Just notice it and log it and see what you can find from that instead of some other Joe blogs telling you what to think and do.
And
Find it for
that's
yourself.
more
Yeah.
helpful
Yeah.
because people are like, I can't just do that. So with now, does this have to do with like the present moment, being aware of the present moments?
Yeah, yeah, because that's the only place you are actionable. So, yeah, it would be. And then once you realize it's in the present moment and you know what you're putting into that, then you get to say, shall I try something new? Shall I suggest to myself something else? Let's see how that works out, you know? And that's the thing, it's only other people can't tell you. Like, it's the best human learning is self-learning. It
Yes.
is. The best human learning is self-learning. And that is you with your experience. And it's you going out there and looking for what you find is a compatible suggestion for you to move forward with, with whatever way you want to move forward. It's suggesting to yourself. That's the most powerful one, because you'll know exactly what's going on inside there. You'll know exactly what your experience is. No one else can tell you that. It's only a knowledge that you have. And then whatever it is you're noticing, you will know why you're noticing that. And then it'll be you that says, I might want to try a different tact here. No, I can't be grateful. I'm not feeling grateful today, but I do understand, I do notice that that's going to reflect on my day to day
Yeah.
if I look at it that way. So, yeah, I might not want to be grateful, but I may want to try just acceptance. How about that? How about just accepting that I feel like crap today?
Mhm.
I'm working myself with compassion. Yeah, you feel like crap today. That's okay. It's okay to feel like crap today. You'll do this until you get bored of it, because you will. Because any emotion doesn't stay with you for very long. And I remember you doing a little reel about that. The thing is, this moment, it will pass. the next one is coming along, and the next one, and the next one. And if you do that thing by noticing what's being suggested to you, or just noticing the effects, the influences of things, you get the power then in that moment to change the next moment. You get the power to do it. No one else has to tell you to do that. You could do that all on your own as a human being.
Yeah.
Just, it's like just noticing is the most beautiful thing. It's
And that,
really helped me because I, as you know, I suffer really badly with anxiety, and it's a feeling in me, and I try to place it. So I get the feeling of anxiety first, which is closely related to the feelings of excitement. All right, this is totally true. Your heart races, and for me, my heart starts going do 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 do. I get a little bit like a nervous energy about me, but that can all be said if I was going to do something exciting as well. But I take it as anxiety, and I have to sit with it. I have to sit with it. But a lot of the time, I'm busy trying to suggest to myself what it is I'm feeling anxious about. And I've gone through in one day when I've been feeling anxious, three different topics that I could be anxious about. So the first one was I know it sounds really pathetic on here, but like I did say, um, I am human. So if
yeah.
it sounds pathetic, that's fine. It's just my life. The first thing I got anxious about was a cat that I'm looking after was missing for a couple of hours. 5 hours actually, and they've all gone off again today. But I can start to feel this anxiety building. I'm going, it's because the cat's missing. You'll be all right when you find the cat. And then I start to suggest to myself, you haven't seen that cat, have you? You still haven't seen it. And each time I suggest to myself this problem is getting bigger, the more anxious I'm becoming. So now I'm being influenced by this anxiety.
And you're
Starting to tell me,
catastrophizing.
yeah,
Mhm.
but I'm being influenced by the anxiety. If I wasn't feeling, if I could sit with the anxiety and just call it what it is, it's just a moment. I'm looking around for something. If I start to notice, like I said, I'm looking around for something to be anxious about, this moment will pass. Just feel it, be with it, and then it will pass, and it does. But no, that day I decided to suggest the cat. Then I suggested that there was a mark on this furniture that I couldn't get off. And that really, because it wasn't my furniture, I'm not looking at the price of it thinking, oh, but no, I suggested that. And then when that was over, it was Brad. I haven't seen Brad for ages. Does he like me still? He's in the
Brad's your
house.
partner.
Yes,
Yeah.
Brad's my partner. So you can see how this it starts to search for different things to keep itself fed. All right, this anxiety needs to be fed, and it needs subjects to feed it. Because I noticed it, and I realised that I'm being suggested to by this anxiety, I can put a stop to it. I can say no. I can feel anxious. I am safe in this moment. My heart rate is going up to keep me safe. I can look around in the moment and say, I am safe. And then I can start to do things like notice anything in the room that feels is the color green. I can touch the desk and feel the desk is solid and all of those things. Because what's happening is my focus is being taken off the anxiety and being displaced. So it becomes less strong, and that's all done by me. It's not done by somebody saying, "Oh well, the cat will be fine." It's not done by somebody saying, "Look on the positive side." None
Don't
of
be
that works.
anxious.
Yeah, don't
I used to
don't
get
be
that a lot.
anxious. That's an absolutely brilliant one. I suggest you don't be so anxious.
Yeah. Thank you very much, people.
Yeah. So
Mm.
that's something to kind of remember that in your world, when you can start to notice these things, and that was a beautiful example of the power of suggestion, because it fed this anxiety to make it bigger and bigger, and then it started to suggest to me that I should be looking for more things to be anxious about, And that's not me as a person. I'm very calm as a person. And as a person, I can implement things, put things in action if there is any reason to do so. As a person, I can risk assess. All of these wonderful attributes that I have are being suggested that they're not enough when I have this anxiety. All of them are being blown out the window. Any attribute of me that I have is being kept small and insignificant in that time. Because if something did occur where I did have to look out for myself, for my safety or the safety of others, I can implement a plan. I can action a plan. And I don't know why, all that goes out of the window. So it is good to notice suggestions. It's good to notice suggestions from outside as well, so that you can become more you as a
Yeah.
human being. And when you are more you as a human being, then you can feel as if, yeah, this is my life.
I have an example of that actually. So, whenever you're watching TV or whatever, there's ads everywhere.
Mm.
And food, the fast food places, knowing that that picture of that burger might not even be real food.
Yes.
It's pumped up, it looks like this big. Meanwhile, you get it, it looks like it's squashed down in real life. But
Yeah.
every time there's something new, oh, you got to try this new burger. And I'm thinking, wow, oh, I need to try that. And Julie, I used to go and try, I need to try this because fear of missing out, right?
Yeah. Or
FOMO.
you could be the first one. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to miss trying this for limited time only. That's also how they get you. This is very important. We need to teach marketing the influence, the power of influence, the power of suggestion to young people because it is,
Yeah.
we are inundated with it. And then when I started realizing, okay, I went and I had that, it wasn't as great as I thought it would be.
Mm.
Or certain places, I actually don't feel so good after eating, obviously. And I would then, when I would see that commercial, realize they're suggesting I don't have to take that as I need to go try that,
Mm.
you know?
Your
And
life is good without the burger.
yeah, and then you
Honestly.
forget about it. Like, oh, okay, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was huge because I used to allow all of those influences. I had to try everything new.
Mm. Yeah, it is. It relies on our humanity again. We always, I think, a lot of us want to be part of a tribe, but also we want to be a part of a tribe that is useful to the tribe. You know, so we can be suggested that to be successful would be to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And the tribe needs entrepreneurs because entrepreneurs bring up the economy. They employ people, they create things. So that's great. But if you, at the beginning of that road, you can be suggested that you're not working fast enough, you're not making the right moves, and then you might want to get help from this person or that scheme or that training. And I've fallen into that trap myself, where I think that I need all of the training to completely be this um, this person that I want to be. Well, basically, it's CBT hypnotherapist, which I want to do someday. But I don't need every bit of training there is. I can practice with what I've already acquired in knowledge and put that implement that in a way that is safe and effective. Those are the two things that for me mean a lot. But there is this pressure or this suggestion that I'd need to read about 400 books or something to become the professionaire and therefore a success, and then therefore a part of this tribe that is like beneficial. Excuse me. I've done too much talking, Steph.
No, but and you're always reminding me of that when I do tend to get stuck.
Mm,
And every time I see ads, and you know me, I've started many different things. And I thought, oh, I need this. Oh, this ad popped up because I Googled it, of course. Thanks, Facebook.
yeah.
And then a webinar. Oh, I need this webinar. And then the webinar, they tell you need their program. And then you're like, well, I need to put money towards that. And I got caught up in so many of that, and so many people do.
Mm.
And
And
talking about podcasting, I've had people reach out to me and like, how do I start podcasts? How do I do this? And I said, you know what? Because I have a mic. I started out in trying to learn voiceover, and I had to buy certain things and blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
So I have all this equipment, but I said, you know what? None of that really matters. Just start. People record on their phones. I know that's how people start. And you are the voice that every time this comes up, I remember they are there to sell a product. So if you're going to Google podcasting, they've put in the algorithm, the SEO stuff to go, oh, you need this for podcasting. No, you do not.
Mm.
And
Lovely.
then that will stop so many people from starting because they're like, well, I don't have the money. I don't know. This stuff is overwhelming. The tech stuff, the audio stuff. When I first started, I had it all coming at me and I get overwhelmed easily.
Yeah.
So if I hadn't started, if I had let that stop me like it usually does, I
Well,
would,
we wouldn't have met, would we?
we wouldn't have met. I wouldn't
No.
have, yeah. So,
Which would be a shame because you're absolutely awesome, by the
and
way.
so are you. We haven't met in person yet because you're in the UK and I'm in Canada.
Oh, I think Canada
But
needs a visit.
we definitely are going to meet someday in person. And
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of like what, cousins or something. We're part of the Commonwealth.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. We're related. Have you got your cup of tea handy there?
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, and I that is a wonderful thing because what it's saying, that suggestion, is that you are not enough without, without this equipment, without doing it this way in this training. In actual fact, the essence of you is the best bit. It's the best bit. It's the one bit that others like me want to hear from. We want to hear Stephanie. We don't want to hear um, from this person who is regurgitating all of these things that have been, these suggestions that have been given to her. When I talk to you, Stephanie, I hear you. I hear your reflections, I hear your experiences, and I hear your growth, how you did a thing. This is the thing that you do tend to show. You show the journey, and it is very, very encouraging to people like me and anybody else who wants to set up in doing podcasts about their experiences because everybody's so bespoke. But the main element in there is the suggestion that you are not enough without this, without that, without the training, without the right equipment. And you can have all the equipment in the world, but if Stephanie doesn't show up, we'd now be looking at a set of headphones and a microphone. That would be it.
The headphones are floating in the air.
Yeah. I mean, nothing coming at me, nothing from my heart to be kind of connecting to. None of that lovely energy that is you that connects with my energy. We wouldn't be able to share any of this stuff with anyone else. There'd be nobody else hearing this ever if we didn't show up. It doesn't matter about all of that stuff. And we've suggested that we are bottom of the shopping list.
Yes. And
Bottom of the shopping list. Yeah.
you just brought this around to the most important point is that you are worthy all on your own. You are you. You're unique in this world. You have this energy of who you are, the essence. And like you said, the world tried to tell us, they try to tell us you're you're just part of the rest of them. You're just this, you're just that. No, we were all wonderful beings here for whatever reason we're here for. And don't let people take that away from you.
Mm.
We don't need all the extra.
No.
And so this awareness coming from you, Julie, you have helped me so much in this. And I have battled with you at times because I'm like, but Julie, they say. And I know because I have been so stuck in the mud with all of this stuff that we've been given.
Yeah.
And years of that, of course, it's there and you have to unlearn and relearn. And you've been a huge part of that. And so I really appreciate you. And thank you so much for coming on. Is there
Yes.
any, do you have any last words? Last words?
Oh, what's he gonna do to me?
Do you have any words of encouragement, wisdom, anything you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, I have. I just would like to say that inside every single one of us is a searching beacon for another human being to connect with. And your voice and your experience and the essence of you, there's someone out there waiting to meet you, and you together will grow. We're all learning from each other all of the time. So never think for 1 second that you are not good enough for someone else because they're waiting for you. They're absolutely waiting to meet you and
Mm,
hear your wisdom and share with you.
that's lovely. If people
Thank
want
you.
to get in contact with you, where's the best place or how do they find you?
You can find me on Instagram on the Modern Pilgrims 2022. I'm on TikTok as Truly Julie. Why? And I'm on Facebook as well. And if you tapped in my full name, and then actually, if you've said Jew, Joo 67, you'll find me easier that way. Because would you believe it, Stephanie? There are hundreds of Julie Howletts.
Oh, really? You're the first
Yeah,
last name Howlett I've ever met. Uh, that's funny though. Well, I can put you the links in the show notes, so then people don't
yeah,
have to search you. So that's
yeah,
easier.
yeah. But just, it's lovely to be here. And if anyone wants to find me, then they can go through you, Stephanie, and you can give them my details. That's okay.
Thank you, Julie. I so appreciate you taking the time and energy and for being here and sharing all of your beautiful wisdom. Well, only a portion of all of your beautiful wisdom. You have so much more to give.
Is that a suggestion?
Yeah, maybe you could come back and we could talk about something else.
I'd love that.
Thanks,
Thank you
Julie.
for having me. It's been an honor. See you later.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye.